right, Katie. Well, thanks for being with us, and everyone, thanks for watching us live on Facebook, watching us live on YouTube, and for those of you that are watching the recording, thanks for taking the time to watch it. You know, it's we appreciate it. We appreciate it. We're here for a reason. I think we're here for the right reason, and hopefully you are too. You know, I was just thinking about it today. You know, what makes a person successful? What makes them successful in just about everything they do? We know people that no matter what they do, no matter what they touch, it turns into gold for them. And you know, I think this year we're going to have a spectacular year. I think no matter what business you're in, if you've got the right attitude, if you believe in yourself, that's what I really wanted to talk about. If you believe in yourself, it doesn't matter what you do, it's going to happen. It's going to happen not just a little bit, but it's going to happen to a great extent. And it's if you believe in yourself. I've got some notes that you know that I took down, and you know, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick. I'm a chiropractor. I retired from chiropractic here 15 years ago after a really bad motorcycle wreck. I was left in a wheelchair, and the surgeons, the orthopedic surgeons that were working on me, they told me that I'd probably never walk again unless I had my leg cut off at the hip and had a prosthetic leg put on. And I just, I didn't want to be a pirate. And so I said, no, I said, I'll keep it. And I spent about 2 years working on things to get my leg working on. And I had to support myself and my family. And that's how I got into network marketing. Yeah, I dabbled with products before, but I'd never really done the business. And so I'm going to share kind of my experience from it. And you know, I look at things probably a little bit differently than most people do. I'll turn 60 next week. And except for the little odd jobs that I had when I was in college, when I was in high school, you know, bills to your jobs I took to make money back then so I could have, you know, an exciting weekend, go on dates and things like that, have the cars that I wanted. I had those types of summer jobs, but since then, I've never had a job. I've never had a job. I've never worked for anyone in my entire adult life. I've worked for myself. So I've probably learned a few things that most people never really learn. And I'm not going to get into all that, but you know, I've been an entrepreneur, and when I got in my motorcycle wreck 15 years ago, I had to figure out a way that I could support me and my 3 boys. I was a single father, 3 teenage boys live at home. You know, I didn't want to cut back on the lifestyle that I've become accustomed to. So I turned to some friends of mine that were in the network marketing industry, the industry that we're here for tonight. And I said, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And first thing they said was, find a company that you believe in, find a company that you can wrap your arms around and you can say, this is my company, because this is branding. You're not branding Sizzle as much as you're branding you. I'm branding me, Dr. Kurt Fisnick, Doc Fizz. You know, that's what most people know me as. Katie's branding, Katie Larking. For those of you listening, you're branding this as you. And Sizzle fits because I think that you'll agree that this is a company that not only can you wrap your arms around the company, but you can wrap your arms around the products, and you'd be proud to say, these are my products. Instead of having Sizzle, it would say Doc Fizz on every bottle. I'd be proud to have that on our products. And Katie's going to touch on the products every week when we do this call. She talks about a product. She gets excited about the science, and she does a great job. She goes out and she does research. She doesn't just read the product brochure, the product information brochure. She actually goes out and does research and then reports it. You know, that's dedication. And that, what I'm going to tell you though is that you need a couple of things to make a company work, to make it work for you, because you're building a business, you're building a marketing business, you're building a distribution business, you're building a business of building other people's businesses, and you get paid on all of that. You get paid on the sales of products as well, but that's not the main focus. That's a focus, and you're going to find people, and I'll talk about that just a little bit, but you're going to find people that say, no, it's not for me, but I really like the idea of those products. Excuse me. And I'd like to get started on some of them. You know what? I don't turn those people away. I get them the products that they need, the products that they want, and it's exciting. I mean, we have a business. Sizzle, their products are built on real science, and I like to share this with people is that during the pandemic, we've become aware that certain extracts aren't available. When you go to the store, there's shortages of this and there's shortages of that. Well, when you're looking at nutritional products, there's shortages of the extracts that they're made from. And one of our products, it's a multivitamin called Encompass 360. We actually took it off the market for a short period of time because some of the extracts weren't available. And well, you could get the extract, but it didn't have the potency that we wanted. It didn't have the potency that our products are made on. It was like 20% less potent than what the other ingredient that we normally use. So instead of using that less potent product ingredient and making the product and just putting it on the shelf so that we could sell the product so we could continue to make profit with that, Tom, the president of the company, made that executive decision. He said, no, he said, we're not going to cut corners. We're not going to do that. We're not going to put that product on the market. Think about it, folks. Any other company on the planet, what would they have done? They wouldn't even have told you that they put that extract in there. They wouldn't even told you because you wouldn't know. When you take your vitamin, you don't break it apart and scientifically measure it and go, oh, it's 20% less potent than what it was a month ago. No, you don't do that. But the company didn't do that to us. Think about that. That's a conviction to their mission for us. That's a conviction that they've made to their mission. I like that. I like putting my name on a company. I like putting my name on a product that I can say that. I can honestly say that because that's what I try and do in the other parts of my life. So tonight, I just want to talk about if you're going to do this, if you're going to get started, you want to be 100% committed. You don't want to be 50%. You don't want to be 75% committed because people buy people. They don't buy companies. They don't buy products. People buy people. And they can tell if you're 50% committed to doing what you're doing, it's not going to work. They're going to see right through you. They're going to see that you're only halfway there. If you're 75%, they're going to see you're halfway, that you're 3/4 of the way there. You know, if you're at 80% or 90%, get in touch with me. What do we need to do? What do I need to do? What does Katie need to do? What does your leader need to do to move you up, to get you to that 100%? Because if you're at 100%, you're going to make this happen. If you're at 50% or 75%, throw in the white towel. You're a product user. You're not doing the business, and you're going to attract other people who are going to be 50 to 75%. You want them to be 100% on board with you. You want to do this right because this is the business. I'm telling you what, if you're doing it halfway, then you're going to do other things in your life halfway. Do you want to have a mediocre life? Do it that way. But don't say you're 100% in if you're not. And when I look at this business, we're on a mission. We're on a mission to help people. We're on a mission to help people build a better life, to move to a different zip code, to move up the chain. And you know, right now with the economy the way that it is, they're saying that over 50% of millennials can't afford their rent. They can't afford their rent. Over 50%. They're saying that when you start looking at the the baby boomers, and you're starting looking at the Generation Xers, and you're looking at the different generations, there's a certain percentage of every group that's that close to being broke. Here's a way that you can move up that ladder. You know, and I'm trying to tell people that, what if you could make an extra $100 a day? What if you could make an extra $50 a day? What if you could make an extra $25 a day? I mean, folks, if you're making $25 a day and you're doing that 5 days a week, that's $500 a month. And based on United States statistics, they're showing us right now that if we could put an extra $500 in everybody's pocket, it would save over half the bankruptcies. Half. That's $25 a day, 5 days a week. I'm telling you what, this is the business. The time is now. We're here. We're ready to go. People are looking. And, you know, you might think, based on what the media is telling you, that everybody's broke. But I'll tell you what, I go out, I watch people. They're sitting in line at Starbucks. They're sitting in line at McDonald's. They're sitting in line at Burger King. They're going to the store. They're buying all sorts of things that they don't need, yet they can't pay their rent. No, it's not because they can't. It's because they won't. There's a difference there. Can't and won't. And I think that what we're looking at, it's a situation where a lot of people just won't. They won't do it. It's not that they can't do it. You know, I was talking to my son last night, and you know, he's starting a new job. He had started a new job earlier this year, and he's moving up the ladder there and making some money, but he doesn't have a lot of extra money, but he wants a new car. And so I'm trying to help him find a car. And I said, here's what it's going to cost. And I'm expecting him to say to me, hey, Dad, can you help float me a loan on that so I can get that? Instead, you know, my son told me, he said, I'll save the money. He said, I'll do it. You know, and so I was raised with the attitude that you can do whatever you need to do. You just need to put your mind to it. You have to have 100%. You're 100% in. You're not 50% in. You're 100% in. You know, I was talking to my dad about a decade ago. We were out bird hunting, and we're driving around. We're bird hunting, and I and I was trying to ask my dad if he had enough money, you know, financially that him and Mom were going to be okay, you know, and did I need to save up money for them as well as for me? And you know, because that's a situation. You know, 65% of people who make it to the age of 65 are dead broke. They don't have any money. And my dad, he said, don't worry about that. He said, we have enough money to live forever. So all I got to do is make sure that he stays healthy. And that's what I'm doing using the Sizzle products. And I can't make any medical claims and things like that. But I'll tell you what, these are some pretty powerful products. And, you know, I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking, you know, I can't go over everything that I really want to go over. All I'm going to tell you is that we have a compensation plan that pays really well. And it's really easy to build. Get back to the person that brought you here and really look at some of the videos that we've made. Bottom line is that we're in the business of helping other people build businesses. And if you want to make this thing work, you have to find three. You have to find three people. And when you found three, you help them find three people. And when you help them find three, you help them find three more, right? And when you do that, what happens, it builds, I call it a brick in the wall. You build it brick by brick. You find three who find three who find three, that's 39 people. And if they're doing it right, if they got the conviction to make this work, what's going to happen is that they're going to buy that 300 PV a month that you have to have in order to make sure that you get paid through all 8 of the different profit centers. If you're buying less than that, if you're purchasing less than the 300 PV per month, guess what? Money's rolling back to the company. You know, I'm not in the business to helping money roll back to the company. I'm in the business of making sure that if I can get paid $20 an hour, I'm certainly not going to work for $10 an hour. and you shouldn't either. Not when we're looking at the economic hard times that we're having right now. And that's what this is all about. And I'll help you find three who find three who find three. And once you've found your three, let's go find three more. Katie, let's bring some product stuff on.
Fantastic. Thank you, Kurt. That was great. All right. I'm just going to bring up my slides here. So if you've just joined us, welcome. And if you're watching the recording, thanks for watching the recording. So we've got some great information today. So the product I'm going to be talking about before I bring up the slides is, if you can see the bottle, Sizzle Terminator. So it comes in a 500 ml bottle. It's a great bottle, actually, and you can reuse this bottle for multiple things. You could, I've actually used it as a water bottle before. So when I finished with it, you could put water in it and use it as a water bottle. It's a really high quality plastic that won't leach into your water. And it's a great bottle just in itself. So there's already one extra use for the product. So let me share these slides here with you. Okay. So before we get started, I just want to make it clear we're not making any claims today to treat, prevent, or cure any disease or illness. We cannot make claims regarding our product. And if you are unwell before, you should consult your doctor before taking any supplements or before, I guess, even using this product. It might be a good idea. So we have to, really put that disclaimer in there to cover ourselves, and then be mindful of how we actually word things, because we don't want to mislead people down the wrong path. So just wanted to put that out there. And now I'll move into the presentation, and I'm just going to move our little video here so it's not covering the presentation. All right, so this is a great picture. Don't just cover bad breath, eliminate it. So Sizzle's Terminator, and Tom actually had a previous company and had a product very, 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 very similar to this product. And it was a very similar name as well. So if you knew about his previous company, you probably know what product that is. And it was a very popular product for a really, really good reason. And that is because people use the product not just for what it was designed to be used for. They found many other uses for it of their own accord. Of course, the company can't state any of those uses. People have to really try that for themselves and do their own research, and then decide if that's something they want to do with the product. We are going to cover some of those today, and just share with you some of the things that people have done with this product. And we've also got a great little testimonial. So we've got Jeff on today, and we'll bring him on for just 1 or 2 minutes there to share how he's been using it and how he found it's helped with him. So I'll go to the next slide. So the product Terminator obviously is really designed for keeping your mouth clean. It's really designed for, I guess, trying to address bad breath, eliminate those germs in your mouth. And also it does have an action of helping to break down plaque on teeth, the way this particular product is designed. So the Terminator product really does go hand in hand with the Sizzle Super Shine toothpaste. So they're a great combination, really healthy, and something that's not covered in this presentation because we don't have time, and I have talked about it previously, but that is, our products are really very, very safe. In today's world, we need to be mindful of the toxins we're putting in our body. What personal care products are you using at the moment that have potentially harmful ingredients that are adding a toxic load to your body? And, we have so many things going wrong in this world, with people getting unwell and cancers and all sorts of things. And it's an accumulative effect of all these toxins. I'm not saying that's the only reason, there's many reasons, but it doesn't help. Okay, so really we want to be mindful that we are using safe products. And so you can, always go into your bathroom and have a look at those ingredients. Turn over the back of the bottle with some of those personal care products you're using. Have a look and see those ingredients, and do your own research, Google them and find out what you can, if they're actually, potentially harmful or, going to accelerate that aging process, which we definitely don't want to do. So let me get into this slide. So volatile sulfur compounds are byproducts of the bacterial action in the oral cavity. And that's from debris that's left from food and skin cells and toxins that are in the mouth, just as the natural process, because, we're eating food, 3 times a day, some people more, and, that food gets left over in the mouth. So these sulfur containing substrates, the family of gases which are primarily responsible for bad breath, are highly toxic to mouth tissue. So if you do have bad breath, then it means that you've really got a toxic mouth. So it's something you want to address. And there's a number of reasons other than just food in your mouth that could be causing that. And we're not going to go into that detail today. But certainly this product here, the Terminator, could support you if that is an issue for you. So you want to eliminate those volatile sulfur compounds and bacteria. So it's important to use substances that are safe, which we've just talked about. There's many other mouthwashes on the market that have alcohol in them, and alcohol can be very drying to the mouth. And so this product doesn't have any alcohol. It's actually really soothing and calming to tissue. And this will become evident as we get through the presentation. So you want to use products that are safe and that don't result in the bacteria building up an immune resistance, which is really important. So the answer to bad breath and oral hygiene is stabilized chlorine dioxide has proven to be very effective at eliminating and controlling volatile sulfur compounds. Stabilized chlorine dioxide is able to work closely with the natural oral pH in your mouth. So it's really not going to disrupt or cause problems, which is fantastic. It acts as an oxidizing agent, and this is effective in assisting the mouth to control biofilms and neutralizing the acid in the mouth. So stabilized chlorine dioxide is very gentle on delicate tissues of the mouth. And this is what I really love, is that often we're using personal care products, mouthwashes, toothpaste that are increasing the irritation in the mouth, that are making things worse for us in many instances. And this product definitely does not do that. It's very soothing and calming. It decreases the ability for bacteria in the oral cavity to multiply, which is really important. And research has shown that stabilized chlorine dioxide can demonstrate efficacy at lowering concentrations of volatile sulfur compounds in the periodontal pockets by changing the molecular structure on contact. Now, I've said all this, and we can't make claims on our product. So I want to make that really clear. At the moment, what I'm actually talking about is stabilized chlorine dioxide as an ingredient and what it can do and what it does. So that's really important to note there, because we need to be careful what we're saying. So sodium chloride dioxide safety. So it's very safe, which we've already covered. And I won't go too much into the science there. There's quite a bit of science on this slide. So if you're watching this presentation, you can read it. But because this solution is slightly alkaline, no reaction will occur, and the solution is stable with no significant loss of efficacy. So when the solution is used as a mouthwash or sprayed on a surface, it reacts and produces a chloric acid, which converts to chlorine dioxide. So the breakdown products from the chlorine dioxide reacts and is harmless to people, animals, and the environment. So that's really important to note. And that's why it's just such a safe, fantastic product. So the answer to bad breath and oral hygiene, so Terminator. So we've talked about the key ingredient in this product, which I showed you the bottle at the start of the presentation, is stabilized chlorine dioxide, and it does eliminate odor and bad breath. Another distinctive feature is that we have an all-natural sweetener, xylitol. So unlike ordinary sweeteners, xylitol does not feed bacteria that causes dental cavities or plaque. So it is important to note that if you do have a pet or an animal, xylitol is not an ingredient you want to give your pet. And there is a certain amount, xylitol becomes toxic to pets over a certain amount based on body weight. So I just want to mention that. So if you're thinking of putting in your dog's water or doing something like that, just be really careful, because dogs and cats and other animals process things differently to humans. So ingredients, so it's got stabilized chlorine dioxide, which you've covered. It's got the potassium phosphate buffer and some flavor in there, and water and the xylitol. So we've talked about the bad breath and leaving your mouth with a cool, minty fresh feeling. So it's very pleasant to use, and it has multiple uses according to the users, not according to the company. So the following slides is how Terminator has actually been used by some people. This is not approved by Sizzle. It is not approved by the FDA. And before you were to do anything that's discussed here, it would be important to check with your medical practitioner. So we just need to make that very clear as well. So some of the uses that people have described with this product, they've gargled it and helped with killing germs when they've removed their teeth. Some people have false teeth, and so it's a really good product for that. People have been spraying it on acne. People have also been using it, and I have to be careful the words that I use, but to clean their hands. So what I have done with this product is I have purchased, and hopefully you can see that, it's a little glass bottle, which I purchased online with a pack of 6 with a little spray nozzle. And what I do is I put some Terminator in there, and you can actually dilute it down to 1:3 to 2 parts. So 2 parts water, 1 part Terminator. And I use it on my hands, and I carry it with me in my bag. And if I've gone out, I spray it on my hands. And so really it's very good at cleaning the hands in the way that you would want them to. So I have to be careful again how to say that, because I don't want to make claims on the product. But if you do the research, you'll get the idea. And so I find this product absolutely excellent. I don't go anywhere without it. And in fact, Kurt, you know, I bought the other day, I buy 8 bottles at a time. And the reason I buy that many is because I use it for so many things. Here we go. So you can also use it as a baby wipe. People have cut like little bits of chucks. That's what they're called here in Australia. And you cut them into little squares, and you can just soak them with that mouth rinse. And it's great for wiping the skin down there. It has some good supportive results there. I've sprayed it up my nose for sinus. I've used it up my nose before as well. A lot of these uses I've done personally myself. Yes, I've sprayed it on a bite. I've used it on a cold sore too. Put it on a pimple. That works really good there. For any like skin irritation, and you know, some people suffer like tinea and dermatitis, psoriasis and eczema. I found that generally it's very calming to the skin. So recently I was visiting somewhere, and when I was washing my hands, I think I've mentioned this on a previous call, my hands just break out if I use the standard detergents or anything that are available in public toilets. My hands get itchy and irritated. And then if that's happened before, I do spray some of the Terminator on, and I just feel it's very soothing and calming. So it has great benefit for me there as well. I've used it this way as well. So if you're feeling a little bit, a bit of odor coming from under your arms, or you've been sweating a lot, you can put a little bit on a cloth and just wipe it under your arms, and it helps to clean under there as well, which is fantastic. Removing stains. This is a big one. I actually have to be quite careful because I've spilled some on my pants before. They were a light pink, and it did remove the stain, but it changed the color there. So you can soak things in them. So just be mindful, I guess, what you're soaking there, but it has been effective for me at doing things like that as well. You know, just cleaning things, mascara wands, hairbrushes, things like that. I soak my toothbrush in the Terminator. I use the Terminator for when I'm washing the dishes, and I've got a sponge, you know, those sponges that are connected with a head, and they sit there, and of course they can have bacteria building on them. So sometimes I soak them in that as well. You know, when the skin's, you know, flared up, you can spray it on there. Customers have reported they've even helped with supporting someone with an earache. Again, we can't make any claims there, so that's not verified. You'd need to do your own research. Spray on mouth ulcers, of course, any irritation in the mouth. This is, as I said, it's a calming product. People have used it for even a tummy upset. And again, be mindful there. Spray on babies' dummies, leaving them nice and fresh and clean. I'll just go through them here. Oops, I've gone too far. So again, I've seen people dip their contact lenses. Again, any abrasion on the leg, sprayed it on, does a good job with that. And dentures, We've got a light mist over clothes to remove tobacco smoke. It's been quite effective for that. Definitely gargling this product for sure. When I've got a tickle, or even, you know, if I feel like something's coming on, I will gargle with this product. It's absolutely fantastic. Cleaning the piercings in the ear. Here's a great one, cleaning the whiteboard. So I didn't think of that one, but I've got a whiteboard here in the room to write up actions that I want to take for the day. So that's a great one to clean the whiteboard. To remove the petrol smell after the petrol station, definitely used it for that one before, if you've got petrol on your hands after filling up your tank. And let's go through, we're nearly finished here. So this is not all the 100. If you are interested in the 100, you can join Dr. Kurt's Facebook group, and we'll post it in there so you can download it from that group. Whoops, don't want to go too far. So spraying it on the freezer and fridge to remove odors, definitely done that before. So if you've had a spill in the fridge, also on the hands to remove onion smells. It does seem to take away itches, which is what I've mentioned before. So I have had a mozzie bite before and I sprayed it, and I found it quite soothing for that as well. For any burn, I've burnt from, you know, the stove perhaps, there's been a great recovery with that. And we've got more stingers, any type of sting. Fungal infections, this can be a real problem for people. And I've found that, you know, with a fungal infection, you can get them in your mouth, you can get them on your feet, you can get them on your head, you can get them in many places. And whilst we cannot say treat, prevent or cure, it has been found to be quite soothing as reported by users. So definitely really good there to spray around the cats, dogs and beds, and spray animals to remove smells. Again, just be mindful because it has got the xylitol in there. A little bit's probably fine, but it does help with removing smells definitely around their bedding. And got a few more. So we've just gone 1 minute over, and then we're going to bring on Jeff, and he's just going to share his testimony. He was so excited. He called me and left a message on my phone about how he was so pleased with the results of the product. So we've got babies' bottoms to remove, to help with soothing the skin there, shoes, spraying on phones, really big one. You know, your phone actually harbors a lot of dirt and grime. And so you can use it to wipe down your phone and your keyboard, your mouse. Really important to do that on a regular basis to keep things feeling clean and fresh. The fridge, I think we covered that. I think we've got a couple of double ups here. It looks like we have here. So I think that was the last one. Yep. I think I've doubled up the slides here. I know these ones we haven't covered. So we've got also air conditioning filters. That was an interesting one, spraying on air conditioning filters. Only recently I just changed or cleaned out my air conditioning unit. That's something you are meant to do on a fairly regular basis. You mightn't have done it for a long time or at all. So you might want to check out your air conditioner, especially if it's a air conditioner and a heating system at the same time. So just air freshener, spraying on the skin after shaving. It can be used on beards, in jars and storage containers, for shoes and for fruit and vegetables. So look, there's so many uses reported by the users. As I said, they're reported by the users. You need to do your own research if you felt it might benefit. Again, we can't make any claims there. I am going to bring Jeff on just quickly. So thank you, Jeff, for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. And again, I know your story, what you're going to share. So we just have to be careful not to say any words that would get our call blocked. So I'll go ask to unmute. So more, let me just bring you. I think you can talk there, Jeff. Is he able to talk there, Dr. Kurt? Let's see. Just asked to unmute. I think I muted you accidentally. Oh, there you are. Can you hear me, Jeff?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
Oh, great. Okay, excellent. Yeah, so you were really excited. You've been using this product. This is a favorite product for you as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I had been using it for gargling.
Yes.
And, well, just standard. I wasn't using every day, but yes, I used it for gargling and it was a help. And then got the flu and I got a dropper and just put it down the nostrils, and I could feel myself on the verge of going downhill, and my sinuses, I felt, were quite inflamed. The glands in your throat there, I could feel them too, sort of blowing up. And anyway, so I actually used a little bottle to spray up through the nostrils, and I suppose it took about 2 or 3 minutes, and the relief was just chalk and cheese.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
provided relief.
Yes. Oh, yes. Just amazing, really. And that sort of inflamed feeling, of however you describe it, it subsided, and that was a real turning point with this flu. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
So yeah. So now, I bought a dropper yesterday, and so now I still sort of got symptoms of it, but I'll use it all the time now. And as you described, you buy a number of bottles at a time, so use it. That sort of proves how effective it is.
Yes.
To me, and it's quite dramatic, really.
Yeah, it is. It's an absolutely fantastic product. What a great story there. And thanks for sharing that with us. And so, yeah, and that is a really good way to describe it, that it is really soothing and calming. So, I've got to put in an order today, and I normally order about 8 bottles at a time, and I always have multiple bottles there available to use it for whatever I decide I'd like to do with it. So I guess we'll leave it there. We've gone over, and I do apologize, we're 6 minutes over the half hour. So thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for watching the recording, and I'll hand it back to you, Kurt, to close out.
You bet. Well, Katie, thanks for a great presentation. I'll tell you what, I keep a bottle of Terminator, just the little 2-ounce bottle. I keep it in my fishing tackle box, because you're always poking yourself with a fish hook. You're always cutting yourself with your knife when you're cleaning fish and things like that. And I like this because it, we can't make any medical claims, but it really does help when you're trying to just keep from getting any kind of infection. So for us guys that like to hunt and fish, keep a bottle handy with you, keep it in your truck and whatever, so yeah. So what a great presentation. Thank you, Katie. And folks, think about it. I mean, you could build a company just around this one product. We've got 30 some other products that are just equally as great, some even better, and a lot, like amazingly better. Right, Katie?
Yeah.
And this is it, folks. I mean, you just got to decide you're going to do it. You got to do it 100%, not 50%. And I'm going to do it no matter what.
Great. Thank you, Kurt. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Bye.